Hello, welcome back to Wenzel's World. Thought I'd make a video. I'm continuing this thoughts I have on the Peterson tobaccos, and so this evening, um, I've been sampling on this since I don't know. Well, I can't remember several days now on this here Peterson's three P's. So whenever I'll read what it says on the back of it first, I guess, and to get focused. Old age. It's a beautiful flower. It's fading. Anyway, the excellent plug tobacco comprise, comprises selected Virginia leaf from Africa and Brazil, blended with burley leaf from. Now that is a place. Of course, I ain't never been there. I should look at my law. I tell you one thing, it probably helped me. Let me get them glasses off so I can see. I try to be better organized. But anyway, mola. The tobaccos are lightly cased before drying and pressing, and are then heated and stored for 2 weeks before. Looks like cutting. Okay, the letters are sort of small and they're not really a good. Some of them sort of fade. Anyway, that's my excuse. The result is a full-bodied yet fruity blend, sure to appeal to the experienced pipe smoker, and you might take that in note. Experienced pipe smoker. Now I don't know how much experienced pipe smoker I am, but I didn't start, yesterday. So and it goes on to say the strength is 4. Okay. Aromatic taste and room note 2. So that's what the tin says about the Peterson's 3Ps, Peterson's Perfect Plug. So it is a plug or a little block. And whenever I open it up and I smell of it, I tell you what it smells like. It reminds me of day's work or apple or bloodhound. He said, "What's that?" That's chewing tobacco. When I open this up and smell to this, it smells exactly like chewing tobacco. So I don't know if you ever chewed any tobacco or not, but anyway, that's what it reminds me of, chewing tobacco. And the days I've been smoking it and so forth and all. Now I tell you, you do whatever you want to do. I'm gonna tell you what I do. I got it out and I took and tore. It's in a little. It's about as broad as it is long. So I tore a flake off. You might call it a flake when people talk about hay, square bales of hay. Some people call it flakes. I call it a block. But anyway, I pulled a flake or the block off of the block, the plug. And then I took a pair of scissors and I go up through there and I make me some little thin shreds. Okay, I hit a corner and then I'll hit that corner and then I'll hit that middle section and then I'll hit a corner that stuck out like so. I'm cutting shreds off of it. That's how I go about doing it. And what I do, then I put it in, lay it out somewhere or another, and give it some time to dry. It needs to have some drying time. It's really wet. Okay. I tried to smoke when I first opened it up. I got some out, done the best I could about pulling it off with my fingers, and just put it in like that and try to smoke. You'll go through a box of matches. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, you'll light and light and light and light. Now I don't have any problem with lighting. You know, the pipe is gonna go out like it's probably going out now. All this talking, but you're gonna have to give it some drying time and let it dry. And you say, how much drying time? It's according to what kind of weather it is. In this building here, and it was raining when I first came out here. And as I set these things up, why, lo and behold, the sun didn't pop out. So, anyway, in this building, and if it's 80 degrees in this building and closed up, say, I got to be gone. I'm outdoors working, I'm got to be gone. And if it's 80 degrees, I get 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, and let it dry some. Now, it won't, in that length of time, it's not going to completely dry out, but it's going to knock off of that wetness that it is, where you can better light it and keep it lit. Another thing I've noticed about this particular blend is the sweetness. Now, if you like sweet, it is sweet. You'll really enjoy the sweetness if you like that. So, with all those things in mind, let me get my mouth cleaned out and we'll talk about it and smoke on it a little bit then. Made up a cup of coffee. I got one of these burners. I set my cup on, keeps it hot to the last drop. Okay. In case you wonder about this pipe, this is the Peterson's spigot P-lip system pipe. Now I've been smoking on this. I'll be getting this camera set up and going around and getting my heater out here from my coffee cup. So I've smoked it down a little bit, enough to be able to sample it now. So if you give me a little time, we'll do some sampling. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not really sure why they say this is aromatic. But anyway, I can see why they'd print it plainly on this can, this tin, that it's for the experienced pipe smoker. Well, did it say it don't mean it's exclusively for them. It says a full-bodied yet fruity blend sure to appeal to the experienced pipe smoker. And I'd say that'd be the case, that it would be appealing to somebody that's accustomed to smoking a pipe. If you just got started smoking or thinking about smoking, maybe you don't need to start with this blend. you probably better off starting with a codger blend. You say, okay, well, where do I get to the codger? What is that? Well, I means, something like Captain Jack, Captain Black, I mean to say. They got Captain Black Original. You can pick that up at some grocery stores, carry that. Got a good taste to it. And like I say, if you like sweet now, it is sweet. Now, it's not, okay, you say, well, how sweet? Well, it ain't honey, and it ain't black molasses, okay? And it's not pineapple, it's not that kind of sweet, but it is sweet. And personally, I like the sweetness of it. I like the way it tastes when I put my tongue out my lips, things like that. Another thing, let me caution you about this. You're going to get a nicotine surge from it. So if you are susceptible to, nausea, dizziness, or something like that, there's one or two things you need to do. Either stay away from it or just take it real slow. And if you smoke it outside, I don't know what it's like where you are. Of course, you may be way up in the UP. I don't know what the weather's like up there, but around here, southeastern Kentucky, it's it's pleasant. Look at the leaves on the trees. We're in spring, so we're well in May now. So if you were to get outdoors with this blend right here and smoke it, and you start getting that rush from that nicotine, just put it over here in your pipe holder and sit there and give it some time and look around your yard, watch the hummingbirds maybe or something like that. Sip on your drink. I got this here Pete's coffee. So that's what that blend is like. So if you've ever thought about getting this here, Peterson's 3 Ps. Peterson's Perfect Plug. That's my evaluation of it. You won't go wrong. I tell you that. You won't go wrong. And if you like it sweet tasting, and you're going to get the sweet tasting from it and all. If you like some nicotine, you're most certainly going to get that. Now, I hadn't been around nobody in public smoking this, so I don't know what people might say about it, but I would think that if you're going to try to be outdoors and uh, win people and influence, make friends with a aroma from a pipe, I wouldn't think this one right here would necessarily do that. Okay, so I got a little story I'm gonna tell you, and it ain't gonna take very long. 14 minutes. I'm gonna try to shorten up a little bit if I can. So I'm through with the review of this right here now. Appreciate you watching, and all you subscribers. Hey, we're not far from 100, and I hadn't forgot about the 100. When you comment down below on my when I get to 100 subscribers, and listen, I'm just doing it for fun, you know. But I'm gonna give away that 10 to the one that I draw the name from when I hit that 100. That it'd be a 10 of Peterson's Deluxe Navy Rolls, and I'll customize you one of these pipe holders right here, one of these leather pipe holders. ever how big you want it, if you want your name on it or not, whatever color you want, I'll customize you one of these, ever who the winner is. So if you want to enter the contest, we hadn't made it up to 100 subscribers yet, so you still got time. And after I hit the 100, I'll give it a few days, whatever, and say on this particular date, I'm going to draw the winner. And just going to put them in a, probably got them in, I got them in a plastic container now, a see-through container. That's probably what I'll shake it up and draw one out of that. And what to do then, why, if who I draw out will be the winner. And if you want to enter that and so forth, just say on the comment section down below this video, just say, I'm in. And I'll get back with you and say, you are in, and put your name down and things like that. So, and again, now, hey, I went to the post office. Uh, they don't sound very keenly about trying to send stuff over to foreign countries from here, tobacco products and things like that. So, I ain't real sure what I'm gonna do for you. If you those that told me that you're in, how about you maybe passing it on to somebody else here in the States? Would you mind doing that? And they say it's pretty expensive too. So we just having some fun here. We old men, or maybe some young lady like Carolina Rose. I like her channel, don't you? I subscribe to it just like that. But anyway, let that be as it may. So if you'll tell me if you haven't entered, just say I'm in, and I'll put your name down. We'll draw it a little bit later on. Let me tell you a story, and I'll let you go. You ever do any catfishing? Back years ago, when I lived down in Tennessee, so I was born and raised down in Tennessee. And everybody wants to know, well, what part? Well, a place called Chapel Hill. I didn't live in town. That little town ain't very big, 800 people is what it was back in them days. I don't know what it did now. Anyway, we lived close to, I don't know, within a half a mile. The way the crow flies, it's probably closer than that, to Duck River. So, hey, I grew up, around the Duck River, fishing and trapping on it, trapping for mink and muskrat and beaver and coons and stuff like that. Well, of course, we fished on it too. And the fishing I like to do, I worked. And so I was did most of what I did was painting houses. And I like to run trot lines and limb lines. You ever do any trot lining and limb lining? There's a couple of good ponds around close to me there. I mean, just it could be in walking distance. You say, well, how far is that? Well, I don't know, half a mile. Then I'd go in the morning with these minnow traps, and I'd put some bread or something in it, and throw them minnow traps in the pond. Well, when I got off work then that evening, I'd come back and I'd get my minnow traps out and take my minnows and so forth. Well, there were really some of them, most of them was just brim, the little short brim about like that. And I'd go to the river with my boat and I'd bait up my limb lines and trot line. And then, of course, he'd fish all night while I'd go back to the house and eat supper and rest and sleep all night. When I get up the next morning, then I'd go out there to the river and check my lines. And I like fishing that way. You got all night long, you're wondering what you're going to have on your lines and things like that. There's a bit of excitement to that. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's about like trapping. You're thinking, well, we set these traps, and you think all through the night, wonder what I've caught. I've tried to catch this animal and that one. So limb lining and trot lining about the same way. Well, I decided I want to go one time and spend the night. Set me a tent up. So I went and set me a tent up, spent the night, got up early the next morning to run my trot line, and I thought, oh me, I won't do too good this morning. Fog. Fog on top of the river. And I was always taught, and it's about the size of it too, that you don't do well when you got a fog on the water like that. So I thought, well, phooey, I have anything. But you know, when I got out there in that boat and that one of them lines was shaking, boy, I like to see that. So you tie your trot line to a good stout limb over here, you know, and then you anchor it down with rocks and things. And that one end of that line, I got over there and I put my landing net down there. And when I pulled that catfish up out of there, and when I finally got it weighed, when I got home and got the thing weighed, that thing weighed 12 pounds. And I remember when I held it up, you know, they'll make a little old sound down in there, and it had such a deep voice down in there. I never will forget that. And his whiskers, you know, catfish got whiskers, you know, and it'll come out so far. Well, on his whiskers, it branched off like limbs on a tree, and I never will forget that. It was a yellow cat, one of them old flatheads, and hey, we eat them all. I mean, I wasn't married back in them days. I was probably something like, I don't know, 18, 19, 20 years old, whenever that was. I wasn't married back in them days. And whatever I brought home, it didn't matter what it was, squirrel, rabbit, groundhog, uh, you know, frogs, any kind of fish I brought in, you know, I cleaned it, and my mama, she'd cook it. So she cooked it. So she cooked the channel cat, yellow cat, and more flatheads, just like all the rest of them. So anyway, well, that's my story then. So good remembrance of fishing, and so I still like to fish. Well, I hope you enjoyed this here video, and I hope you learned a little something other about Peterson's three P's. Peterson's, which is one of the P's, perfect. That's the second P, plug. Peterson's three P's, the three P's. So anyway, till we meet again, why, you have a good rest of the day or night.